Oh, and we are up and we are live. Good morning. Good morning. Wednesday, April 28th, 5 a.m. Central Standard Time. It's your morning life coach, Tanner DeWitt, over at talktotanner.com, who we help self-employed individuals improve their energy, their focus, and make sure we have an anti-regret plan. We just want to make sure that we have our plans in place so we can live the life that we know we're not only capable of, but the one that we actually want. So this morning's, I'm excited for, you hear all the time this, do what you love for work, and don't settle for anything else. And I believe in that to a certain degree. However, my thinking had always been a little on the fence about just saying no to everything before jumping into something on what is it? The topic of doing what you love. Important, right? Being embedded in your work. It's the ideology that if you don't exactly love what you're doing today, you're completely screwed. That line of thinking I'm not all for. A lot of us don't run into a certain career or a certain position. And I think a lot more times than not, the people who are giving the speeches and the people who are telling us, like, don't settle for anything else, do what you love, I think a lot of them fell into their situations, and life is just so random and weird and crazy that if you don't exactly love what you're doing right now, hopefully today we can apply some of the tips and tricks to see if you are in alignment with your work, showing real examples of what actually makes work loving and fulfilling and worthwhile, enjoyable, to be able to say, I love what I do, etc., etc. In this book that I've been reading, so good they can't ignore you, with talks a lot about building skills, and there's a section specifically that we'll get to break down today that I thought was very helpful and useful just on this topic of loving your work, loving what you do, and hopefully giving you some peace of mind if you don't exactly love what you do. However, well, I guess let's jump to the whiteboard. Good morning. We're going to go ahead and get started with making sure that the topic in the outline is what. So doing what you love. Okay. Doing what you love. Then we're going to dive into 3 different facets on what it is that we can do to love what we do more. Or vice versa, to see whether you're in the right spot or if you need to make changes. But essentially, as a coach, would just help you give another perspective, just ground your thinking. Are you telling yourself the truth about what it is that you do and how you do it? And do you love it? Do you not? Or maybe it's just an adjustment of the environment around us. These are all open, and I would say that taking the time to figure out what it is that you would want to do with your life is probably well worth it. However, we just don't want to trip up on the self-saboteur in coaching. This is the person who kicks your own ass, essentially. is what it is. You have inner thoughts. They're usually pretty negative because humans are just made to survive and not be happy. And we'll just kick our own butt up and down the street all day long saying, "Oh, I'm not working my calling. I'm not saving lives. I'm not building houses in Africa. I'm not worth $10 billion." And so just the rest of it sucks. Well, let's go ahead and dive into these three things and see if they're present for you. And if not, what can you do to try and make them present? Because these have attributed in many, many studies that when you have these present, you almost can't not love what you do. And these are things that you can control. In the book, they give an example about Steve Jobs, and Wozniak was the one who had presented like the computer ideas, software ideas, like to him, and kind of like the stages for that. Steve Jobs like jumped on the opportunity and ended up working out. But my point is that was like, he didn't create that initial. He took advantage of an opportunity, and as you'll see, as you build skills, you'll get more opportunities. But don't beat yourself up, because the world's not fair in that regard, that you're going to get handed this idea versus the next person's going to get handed this next idea, especially as we go farther down the timeline. Like, it's 2022. It's very competitive. It's very hard to create things. That's the con, but versus the pro, because there's always a pro versus a con, right? Versus the quality of life in today is just better. Like, work environments and work cultures to help doing what we love. There's a lot more options. So a lot more options can be very overwhelming, and hopefully, as your morning life coach, I can help break them down for you and help us not to mooch off of the show yesterday too much, but to help make decisions, and these decisions can help improve us. So number one, autonomy. So, rule number one for loving what you do, autonomy. And autonomy, what do I mean by this? You are in control. You are in control of the work that you do. So you are the one who's setting up the meetings. You are the one who is essentially calling the shots. People who have called the shots for themselves, for their lifestyle, for the type of work that they do, when they are in control, people tend to be happier. Versus you have a jackass boss who is really pressing on you and really hard about deadlines, micromanagement. And a lot of those times, people don't exactly love what they do. So asking yourself, okay, from an autonomy basis, am I in the driver's seat? Am I driving the car in the right direction? What could I better? I am in control. And if I had to give myself some advice, how could I better control the situation? How could I better handle this situation? Where do I need to place the things that I'm doing throughout the day to be the best manager for myself? A good manager would know that there's certain tasks of the day that are more difficult, and they would push you to do those first when you're more fresh and you have a lot more energy, especially if you find this vibe particularly useful, getting up earlier in the morning and taking care of those harder tasks first so you can build momentum for yourself. So doing what you love. Very big commonality for people who actually love what they do for work is that they are in control of what they do for work. For example, if you were to work with me, I do morning coaching sessions. Why? Because I have this like lion archetype, or that's how I have through tons of journeying have figured out where I'm sitting at, and I can give the best support, the best brainstorming sessions, the best accountability, the best experience to push you to a point to where you have a great understanding of where it is you're going, what you're doing, and I'm in control of setting the times for the meetings and when they're placed. So it allows me to do other things, such as at like 5 o'clock yesterday, I was cooking and hanging out with my girlfriend and having a good time, trying to relax before I head off to kind of do a few of my own things to get things ready for work the next morning. And she has piano lessons. So being in control of that makes me feel good, makes me feel happy about my situation. So asking yourself, are you in control? Is that something that's necessary for you to make improvements on? Or how can you be a better leader for the people that you do surround yourself with? So lead us into number 2. Competence. Competence, also known, what else could we call it? Skills. Competence and skills. Humans are crazy that so many of them came out. People have way more job satisfaction with things that they're good at and they don't really give a shit about versus things that they think are morally right or they think would be good and they suck at. Humans like things we are good at. We like to be good at it. So this next part is people who love what they do are damn fucking good at it. You know those people, whether I work with a lot of real estate agents, and one of my clients, she is just a killer and has a lot of confidence and really enjoys what she does with the experience working with her buyers and sellers and along those lines. And I love working with those type of killer people, just who are just really good, have the skills. So understanding this, if say the job you're currently working right now isn't that great or this and that, maybe ask yourself, how can I get better at this? Especially if you're in your 20s or 30s. Like those are stages for just skill building. And even if you're later on in it, there's the time horizons nowadays are just getting longer and longer. So if you can build skills, reassess, think about it. I want you to go in and do something sloppy and then take some training, gets better at something, and then do it again and tell me that you didn't feel better about that. Who doesn't feel better about doing shit right or getting it done in a just being better feels good to people. So when it comes to the question, doing what you love, something that you personally can apply, I'm applying it myself. What can we do to build our skills to be better? So let's go ahead and write just a few examples, because this, I think, is this one we have a ton of a control on. In autonomy, when you're running your own thing, you're in control. Yes, that is a factor that causes people to love it when they are calling the shots. However, there's some situations I get where it's harder to apply. Just as important, and it doesn't change the fact that it's real, that people who are in control are happy. However, in number 2, this is something a little more immediate and something that hopefully I, as a coach, can help hold you accountable to actually doing. So what are some things we could do for number 2? Well, we could, I do competition research. Studying your competition in today's world when everything is online and everything's presented and marketed and a lot online. Like, say you're just watching this video and you want to become a coach. Just watch it, see what you like, what you don't like. How can you apply it to yourself? How can you apply it to create more value for your own clients under that line of thinking? Such as there's a sales navigator tool for LinkedIn, which we'll probably go over on the show, which I'm using to generate more leads for my business. So knowing, I had to watch other coaches talking about how they're generating leads, how they were kind of going about talking to their clients, and just spending 1 hour a day or something along those lines, studying the people around you. And don't be scared to use some of the similar ideas or going about. There's nothing that hasn't not been created yet, pretty much. So research and development for most successful businesses just stands for rip off and duplicate. And just leveraging your own personality, your own values, your own purpose, why you do what you do. We talk about that a lot. Why do you do what you do? Because people tend to buy that more often than what you do anyway. So compiling the things that you like and you don't like and kind of looking through competition, doing the research on them, seeing how you can chip away and build your own skills. Or maybe it's, well, you know, of course, I'm all about the reading on building the skills. Additionally, there are free workshops. Free workshops you can do in whatever industry you're in, specifically like you want to be a better real estate agent. There's workshops on productivity, or there's workshops on how to better talk to your clients. Skill builders. What is one other way we can improve our skills? I wanted to cover some type of reflection thing, because the best way to start is to sit down, and whether you get out like a journal or something and you're just writing out your skills, your strengths, your weaknesses, opportunities, and literally just like a SWOT analysis. If you can have some type of SWOT, those sound, I'm sure some of you college students or who went to college cringe at even seeing that word SWOT, because they didn't, I don't know, at my school, they never used them right. But they're actually a really good exercise and powerful tool that I take my clients through. You're just knocking out your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, your threats, seeing what's around you to get more clarity and awareness, and then addressing the top priorities, your top goals, and then just seeing what skills you need to develop to help make that possible. Okay, we dove extra into skills, because that's the one I really wanted to focus on. Is like, we need to just make ourselves better. Like, we need to be more talented. We need to be improving our craft, because the more you improve your craft now, just the better the experience will be for the client. And I pretty much only serve people in service-based businesses. Specifically, if you know any real estate agents who need a coach, please let me know. We help improve that energy, focus, and put a non-regret plan together over at talktotanner.com. But if you need something along those lines, then we can make sure that we're still building the skills that are necessary and we have a good idea of what it is we can do next. Because a lot of times it's just easy to forget what to do next, and we want to make sure that we fill that gap. We're on the right track. We have the right thinking and the right support in place. Okay, last but not least, we have we know that working with people is important, and the people who surround us are important. Like the top 5 people we spend the most time with, we're going to be the most liked, or we're going to be the average of these people. Whether it's the 5 people you hang out with in work, with out of work, your family, your friends, etc., you're going to end up being the sum of kind of those cohorts that we surround ourselves with. So the last one is all about people. Relatedness. There's not, that's an L. Damn it, that looks like a T. That's an L. Relatedness. So relatedness, people who do what they love generally like their coworkers, genuinely like their assistants, genuinely like the sales team that is built around them. They like the people that they're around. So that's fine and dandy. What can I do with that in my situation? I don't really like my job or the people around me. Well, you could show up today as the person that you would want to be working with. Show up, lead by example, be the person who steps up, who builds the skills, who's calling the shots. You're calling the shots of how things are going on internally here. You're calling the shots on that. You are enough. You are loved. You're ready to rock and roll. Relatedness and the people around us, not just knowing that how important it is for a sense of community and the people around us, but simply these are the facts. When people love their work, they love the people that they're working with, they're around, or maybe it's just the client, the literal clients that they have. They love them as well. Expressing and feeling and just being in more enjoyed state with the people around you can be crucial in doing what you love. And notice how in these top 3 factors, we didn't talk about picking the right job, quitting the job, moving on to the next job. What I'm saying is life is really weird, and people who are really talented get a lot of extra opportunities. That's why you got to build your skills up so you can get offered an opportunity for something along those lines. There's this MIT professor. He's talking about how just focusing on building your skills is way better than going out there and just job hopping until you find the one thing that you love the most. You can never try every job in the world, so don't beat yourself up if you don't absolutely love like the current job that you're in. If you genuinely dislike it, genuinely take time to journal about it, to figure out what it is, what are you good at, what are you bad at. Maybe do one of those SWOT analysis and just break it down a little bit more, get a better grip, build the foundation that you want to stand on, and then kind of move from there. I'm not saying you can't try different jobs and still be happy, because the basis of being happy is controlling that stuff on the inside. If you need help with that, we can go over to talktotanner.com. But from just bouncing off from work to seeing what you can do today, seeing how you can engage yourself, seeing how you can build the skills necessary to maybe get those different opportunities down the road. A lot of people who work dream jobs in like corporate America per se with bigger companies, they're generally just so damn talented at what they do. They get promoted a couple times, and then another company's like, yo, you want to try this and do this? And then you've gotten so talented, you know your top 5 values, right? Because you watch this morning show. And then you see if the other opportunities make sense. But the skills come before the opportunities. So again, the skills, we need to be really good in order to get the opportunities. I'm giving a speech today. It's online, it's Zoom. It's not in person. It's not in front of a million people, but it's a start. And I'm going to put my fucking heart and soul into that shit and try and crush it, crush the talk, try and give as much value back to these people as I can, try to be inspiring, trying to lay out real examples that they can see from their own situation, because we're not the same broadly, but specifically with their application, what they need to do, an action basis. We're in different situations. So how can I be better? How can I have the right energy, the right flow, the right examples, and then just keep tweaking it along the way and get better? And as I get better as a speaker, I'll probably get asked to do more events, more opportunities. So if you know someone who's looking for a speaker to talk on productivity, improving your focus, improving your energy to support that focus, having no regrets, creating an anti-regret plan, I'll come talk, and I'll talk for free. I don't give a shit. I'm trying to be sharp. I'm trying to be the best I can be at this so I can get those opportunities later down the road. It's a long-term game. It's probably going to take me a while, but we're going to be back here again tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. to do it again, to get better at talking, to build more confidence, to build these skills. So we'll leave it with one final note. Skills. Oh, that's supposed to be an equal sign. Skills equal opportunity. Don't forget skills, opportunities. Thinking about what is one thing I can do to improve my skills? What is one thing I can do to be better? What is one thing I can do to help be more in control and have that autonomy? And lastly, who are the people that I must surround myself with? The people I must surround myself with to be able to take myself to the next level, to be able to answer this question: do you love what you do? Is there anything you can do to love more what it is that you do? Not here for a long time, might as well have a good time, right? Doing what we love. 5 a.m. show, your morning life coach Tanner here to improve focus, your ability to pay attention, be able to have more depth within life, energy to help support being focused in the present moment. And additionally, we're going to make sure that we're on the right path and put together an anti-regret plan. Your morning life coach. Please, if you know any real estate agents who would benefit from working with me, I would love to set up an initial meeting. You can always go over to talktotanner.com and set up an appointment that way to do a discovery session. I can give you some free exercises just for clarity and awareness purposes to make sure it'd be a benefit for everyone. But yes, your morning life coach is signing off. I got to go do my other stuff, go do work. I love this free outlet and trying to help people as much as we can. However, it's time to go work. If you're still laying in bed, it's 5:30 a.m. It's time to do this. It's time to make an impact. It's time to make a splash. Just 10 minutes of working on that skill. 10 fucking minutes, baby, today. Let's get it done. Let's get it rolling. We can do it together. I'm not stopping. I hope you're down to ride, because we're trying to ride to the top and have fun along the way. Life's meant to have some fun. Kick some ass. Take some names. Go build some skills. Surround ourselves with good people. It's going to be a good, fun time. So maybe we just need that right mindset going into the rest of this week. Happy Thursday to you all. And I will be seeing you tomorrow, Friday, April 29th, 5 a.m. Central Standard Time. Thanks again. Talk soon.